Hello everyone and welcome to something a little bit different to my usual Star Wars action figure reviews. Today we're taking a look at my entire Star Wars collection. This is indeed my 2021 Star Wars collection tour. It also happens to be my 1000th video here on YouTube, and it is of course International Star Wars Day. So first and foremost, a very happy May the 4th to all of you guys watching. If you're new to the channel, then welcome. I hope you'll continue to stick around for all my new content that I've got coming over the next few weeks, next few months and into the future. There's a lot of cool action figure reviews coming up on the channel, and if you are a long-time viewer of my videos, then I'd like to thank you guys for the continued support over the years. Obviously I've been reviewing Star Wars toys here on YouTube for 13 plus years now, and I'm having an absolute blast, and that wouldn't be possible without all of you guys who interact with me, you know, comment on my videos, share them, and just join me to talk about all things Star Wars really. Again, I absolutely love the community aspect of YouTube, and I've met some incredible people through doing this. So again, a big thank you to all of you who've stuck with me on this 1000 video journey, and hopefully this video satisfies your need for a collection tour. I'm going to sort of try and go into as much detail as I can about certain displays. I'll try not to spend too long on specific items. I'll try to avoid waffling on and talking too much about certain bits. The point of this video is just to give you an overall feel of how the majority of the room is laid out. Obviously the last collection tour that I did was back in January of 2020, and since then quite a lot has changed in the room. A lot of displays back then were still a work in progress. Those have since been completed, so we'll be taking a look at those throughout this review, or video should I say. And yeah, I hope you'll stick around to check out my collection. So let's jump into it and kick things off. So we'll begin on this side of the room and make our way around. As you can see in the middle there, we do have my framed print from the artist known as Jake, which is absolutely fantastic and is signed by the man himself. Up on the wall, well, on one of the Detolf cabinets, I've got a bit of a Darth Vader shrine going on, and above that just a couple of carded pieces that correspond to the Vader shrine itself. So vintage collection carded figure there, the Dr. Aphra special action figure set, which is awesome, still in the box and in a protective case, looks fantastic. And again, various Vader collectibles on the top of one of my Detolfs. Here at the side we have various memorabilia that I picked up at Star Wars Celebration Europe back in 2016. So far that was my first and only Star Wars celebration that I've attended, and hopefully once the pandemic comes to an end, celebrations can continue and I'll get myself off to another one. But I've just got a few patches there, some other commemorative merch for Celebration. We have some lanyards with various swag pins from Celebration, Disneyland, Star Wars Fan Fun Day events, all that sort of stuff on there. Really cool. And of course my Celebration passes. Just below that we have a bit of an Empire Strikes Back and Luke Skywalker shrine going on, with the Black Series Luke Skywalker helmet and then various other collectibles based around Luke, and for the most part his encounter with the AT-AT in The Empire Strikes Back. Pretty cool little setup there. And down below that we have what is mostly left of my Lego Star Wars collection. Now over the years I've collected quite a bit of Lego Star Wars sets, but I have parted ways with the majority of them, just due to space more than anything else. Don't have the room to display all the Lego that I had, so I moved them on in order to fund and make room for other aspects of the collection. But I did keep hold of some of my favourites. So we do have my X-Wing from The Force Awakens and the Millennium Falcon, and these are displayed on display stands from wickedbrick.com, which are absolutely fantastic. If you are a Lego collector and you want to get some dynamic setups for your Lego sets, definitely recommend checking those out. We've got some more of my favourite sets displayed on this bookcase as well. Probably the only way that I'm going to get a sail barge into the collection, in the form of the Lego set there. Obviously I don't have the space and don't have the access to be able to get the Hasbro sail barge that was released. And then down on the bottom we've got a bit of an evolution of the walkers setup going on, as well as a little Hoth battle setup as well. So moving along, we'll take a look at my Detolf cabinets. I've got a collection of various bits and pieces on the tops of my Detolf cabinets, including the big Black Series TIE Fighter that was released, and then just other odds and ends on the tops there. But the Detolfs, for the most part, do contain some of my more high-end collectibles and also my Funko Pop collection. So we'll move the chair and the table out of the way and we'll get a look at what's in those. So as I said, I do have various bits and pieces displayed on the top of my Detolf glass cabinets. This is just a collection of random bits and pieces, popcorn buckets, cups from the cinema, all that sort of stuff, plushies, miscellaneous little figures. And the same on here, Funko Pops, electronic figures, all that sort of stuff. Do have some vehicles up on the ceiling as well. And then my 3 Detolf cabinets on the front have stickers based on nose art from Republic gunships that appeared in the Clone Wars, which I think were a really cool little touch. I really do like those. This is definitely my favourite. Plos Bros. And then, as I said, the Detolfs themselves are mostly the home of my higher end collectibles. So in this one, for example, we've got my Bandai Tamashii Nations movie realization figures. We have some Kotobukiya statues and some in-box Forces of Destiny dolls, which are absolutely fantastic. That Leia and R2 set at the back, which was a San Diego Comic-Con exclusive, is absolutely awesome. One of my absolute favourite in-box pieces. And then below that we have my Anovos First Order Stormtrooper helmet, which I was lucky enough to win as part of their giveaway way back when. And down below that we have some 1/6 scale figures. So we have my one and only, thus far, Hot Toys figure, which is the First Order Heavy Stormtrooper. We have the Disney Store Elite Series Director Krennic and Death Trooper. We also have some more statues and busts. And then down on the bottom, another random collection of bits and pieces, including some patches from events, YouTube friends and shows that I've been to over the years. In cabinet number 2, we have the majority of my Sideshow collectibles 1/6 scale figure collection. The top shelf focusing on the Clone Wars. And down below that we have the Empire, with that incredible Stormtrooper commander hiding away at the back there from The Force Unleashed. Have some original trilogy characters there as well, including Han Solo and Leia. And then down at the bottom, some more Sideshow figures and a couple of the old Hasbro 12-inch figures that were released back in the 90s. And then in cabinet number 3, we have my pop collection, or at least my inbox pop collection. I do have some more Funko Pops displayed throughout the room. Those are out of the box and you'll get a look at those later on in the video. But as you can see, this is the majority of my inbox pop collection. Now, I do keep rotating this display because unfortunately, due to the amount of space that I have, I can't display all of my pops at once. So each of these shelves does go 6 along the front, 6 along the back, and 2 down each side. And I think there's about, in total, maybe 60 or 70 pops in this cabinet. So I just rotate them, but for the most part I try and keep some of my favourite ones displayed towards the front. Got some really cool ones in here. One of my favourites has to be this signed Ezra Bridger pop from Taylor Gray, who played him in Star Wars Rebels, and of course Captain Rex and various others. So I really do like my Funko Pops, and again we'll get a look at some of those out of the box later on in the video. As we come around, we've got some of the Macquarie concept figures on the wall in the corner there, and then we have another print. This is a Rogue One print from the IMAX midnight screening. We have my Slave One and a little bit of a droid's shrine here with various electronic and 12-inch droids. Then we have one of my most treasured items in the collection, the scratch-built E11 Stormtrooper blaster rifle that my dad put together back in the day. That takes pride of place in the collection. Then we have my Black Series centerpiece Rey and Kylo Ren duel going on as well, with some carded figures hiding in the back there, most of which, as you can see, are Boba Fett. So below that we have the majority of my 3 3/4 inch collection. This for the most part does go in chronological order, so we start with the Phantom Menace and work our way through the prequels. Some really cool figures on these shelves from various collections released over the years: the Vintage Collection, the Legacy Collection, 30th Anniversary, plus many more. Then we go into A New Hope, some of the Cantina aliens, that Lax Sivrak figure from the Power of the Force, still one of my all-time favourite figures. Just a really cool collection of different characters on each of these shelves. You've got the duel there as well. Gotta have Ben and Vader going at it in the collection. Then we have the Empire Strikes Back down on the bottom. There's some really cool set pieces in here as well, such as the Wampa, Tauntauns, the Bacta tank. Some really cool pieces. Then we have my Return of the Jedi setup with various patrons of Jabba's palace. Got the Max Rebo band and some other characters down at the bottom. Got the Rancor pit. And then Jabba's palace itself with the big man at the back on his throne. And some more Return of the Jedi characters, mostly from the Battle of Endor. And then above that we do have my 3 3/4 inch figures from The Mandalorian. Really hoping to expand that collection over the coming months. And then we have some of my favourite figures from the 3 3/4 inch line. These are from the Expanded Universe, or as Disney like to call it, the Legends canon, which isn't really canon anymore, for the most part anyway. There are a few realistic Clone Wars figures thrown in there as well, but for the most part these are all from sort of comic books, video games, all that sort of stuff. And again, some of my favourite figures are included in this collection. You've got Dirge in there, ARC Trooper Alpha, Montross and Jaster Muriel. And then the Expanded Universe does continue. So we have characters from The Force Unleashed, again various video games, The Old Republic. And then we merge into Rogue One. Some really cool figures released in that collection. We blend into Rebels, which for the most part is complete. The only figure that I'm missing from that collection is Ezra Bridger in his cadet's uniform. And then we have the Clone Wars, which is one of my favourite displays in the collection. I absolutely love this. I've tried to separate it with good guys on one side, you know, sort of good guys and Republic affiliated characters to the right of the shelf. Jabba is firmly planted in the middle, he's neutral. And then we have all the villains on the other side with bounty hunters, Sith, Mandalorians, all that sort of stuff. Again, a great collection of figures from the Clone Wars. Then below that we have my Clone Troopers, which has been condensed over the years. You may remember back in the day I had tons and tons of Clone Troopers behind me. The majority of my duplicates are all in storage or have been damaged by sunlight and dust over the years, which is a shame. And then we have some vehicles from my collection as well. Again, not all of them. Some of these are in storage. I just don't have the space to display all of them. And then above that we have my carded vintage collection. Now, I will apologise about the glare. These are all in protective cases, so unfortunately the lights do create a little bit of glare on these. But this is the majority of my vintage collection carded figures. I would like to find a better way to display these so that you can actually see the figures inside, but there's a decent collection there, and maybe I'll showcase those in a separate video at some point in the future. And then where the roof slopes down, we do have some vehicles hung from the ceiling. Moving around the room, we have some more carded figures. These are my astromech droids that I built at Disneyland. Can't wait to get back there and build some more. And then we have my Solo, a Star Wars story print, which is one of my favourite pieces in the collection in terms of artwork. I love that old western feel that this poster has. Looks really, really cool. And then below that we do have a collection of different bits and pieces, including some Disney Store electronic figures. And we also have my collection of master replicas and Riddell scaled helmets, which are, again, some of my favourite pieces. And I really wish that these were still in production, because Master Replicas did a really, really good job with some of these. They put out some fantastic pieces, and all of these were picked up at great prices years and years ago. I think I paid about £15 each for those clone troopers there. I think I paid about £25 for Boba Fett, which is insane in terms of how much you pay for collectibles these days. In front of those, we do have some of my earliest Star Wars collectibles. These are the Micro Machine mini head playsets, some of which are complete and still have their figures. Some of them that are closed up don't, unfortunately. But I've had these since the early 90s, had them since I was a kid, and they've remained in the collection. I do have fond memories of those. And before we take a look at the other side of the room, one aspect of the collection that I did forget to showcase was my book collection. I'm very quickly running out of room for Star Wars books, so I do need to get a bigger bookcase at some point. But these are mostly all my books, comic books, all that sort of stuff. We do also have my Galaxy of Adventures figures there, which are absolutely fantastic. I'm a huge fan of that line. I have some of my novels there with other bits and pieces displayed up front. And then down at the bottom we have reference books, such as The Art of Books, which are fantastic. I'm really looking forward to the Galaxy's Edge one. We've got concept art books, visual dictionaries, and all that sort of stuff as well. Now underneath that shelf we have some of my larger Star Wars vehicles. We have my AT-AT Walker from the Legacy collection, which is still one of my all-time favourites, and we do have the AT-TE from the Clone Wars as well. So here is the side of the room that is seldom seen in my videos. You never really get to see what's behind me when I'm doing my action figure reviews. So here we have my Darth Vader 3D FX Lite. The batteries do need changing, unfortunately. We have my Rogue One print from the Celebration Europe 2016 Rogue One panel. These were given out at the end of that. I was lucky enough to grab one. And then we do have my Black Series Memphis Nest speeder bike, which is a monster of a piece, but is very, very cool. And then on the subject of the Black Series, we do have some carded figures. These are of course the 40th anniversary Empire Strikes Back figures, or at least some of them. Some of my favourite card back examples. That Luke Skywalker in Snowtrooper gear, or Snowspeeder gear, sorry, is a superb figure. Now we've just got some other carded figures, R2 and Yoda, two of my absolute favourites. And some more carded figures along the bottom there, with plenty of room for growth underneath when I do eventually decide to add to my carded collection. Now on the subject of carded figures, I do also have the first wave of the retro collection carded on the wall. This is the only bit of vintage representation that I have in my collection. I'm not a massive, I'll not say that I'm not a massive fan, but I'm not a collector of vintage Star Wars pieces. It's not something that I've ever gone to the effort of trying to do. It's not something that's really within my budget, but this was nice to have in the collection. You've got to have some sort of 70s and 80s representation in a Star Wars collection, and I know that I might be in the minority, but I think Hasbro did a really, really cool job with these. On the door, and I do apologise about the glare once again from the lights, but we have my Book of Boba Fett poster, which was very, very kindly sent out by the guys over at Red 5 Designs, who are putting together a really cool, comprehensive guide to vintage Star Wars collecting. They set up a Kickstarter for that a while back, and it's in the closing stages of production now and should be shipping out soon, so make sure you check that out if you haven't already. Very, very cool that they sent that out and designed it. This is a hand illustrated piece, absolutely stunning. And that does lead us into the next section of my collection. So we do have some more carded pieces on the wall. My signed Kenny Baker R2-D2 action figure, and then below that we do have the Rise of Skywalker Blu-ray display, which made a really nice corner piece in the collection. Managed to pick that up from my local Asda. And then as we move round, we have the majority of my Black Series collection. We do have some odds and ends up on the tops of these bookcases as well. Got some more Lego up top, as you can see. That Lego Star Destroyer is one of my all-time favourite sets. An absolute beast when you open that up. But this is the side of the room that, again, is seldom seen and was a huge work in progress when I last gave you guys a look at my Star Wars collection. But for the most part, it is all complete. It is mostly Black Series, but we do have some 3 3/4 inch displays in there as well, plus some focus shelves, which we'll take a look at later on. But absolutely love this side of the room now that it's all finished. It looks fantastic, and I'm really, really happy with it, especially this shelf, which we'll touch base on in just a bit. So we'll go into Black Series and we'll kick things off with the helmets. We do of course have the prototype Boba Fett and the Mandalorian helmets there at the top, accompanied by my most recent addition to the collection. That is of course the Retro Collection Mandalorian figures, which are absolutely stunning. Very, very underrated set of figures there. And then we have my Black Series collection. Now again, I'm not going to spend too long talking about each figure on each shelf, but we do have gaming figures there, which I'm really looking forward to adding to with the continuation of the Gaming Greats line. We have my prequel trilogy figures. Unfortunately, they are all crammed in onto these shelves, but I'm hoping to space them out at some point in the near future. We do have that San Diego Comic-Con exclusive set there as well. And we have figures from Solo, Rogue One and Rebels. The Empire Strikes Back, with the bounty hunters taking centre stage. Return of the Jedi, the Mandalorian, Galaxy's Edge, and other miscellaneous figures. Force Awakens, Last Jedi and Rise of Skywalker, criminally underrepresented. Then we have a bit of a work in progress shelf for Clone Wars, and some larger scale pieces such as vehicles and beasts. Now I do have one more Black Series shelf, and that is based on characters from A New Hope. The reason that these figures are displayed on this shelf, on one of the longer shelves, is because I've got that Legacy display stand in the background. But a really, really cool collection of characters there. Hope we get some more figures from episode 4 in the future. Below that we have a slight continuation of my 3 3/4 inch collection. So we have all of my childhood figures from The Power of the Force 2. This is again one of my favourite setups in the collection. Love these figures, they hold a lot of special memories, and I've got some great carded figures in the back there which are in absolutely pristine condition. So I'm thrilled to have those. Again, apologies for the glare. And then below that shelf we have my sequel setup, some really cool figures from The Force Awakens, The Last Jedi, and minimal additions from The Rise of Skywalker. And then the final shelf in my 3 3/4 inch collection is Solo, with the Millennium Falcon at the end. Now I'm not going to spend too long talking about each and every piece on this shelf, but this is of course my Boba Fett focus. This features the majority of my Boba Fett collection. Obviously there are other figures scattered throughout the room, but on this shelf we do have boxed items, carded figures, pop vinyls, pins. Really, really cool collection of different figures and collectibles based on Boba Fett. We do have some incredible pins at the back by Left Coast Graphics. Absolutely love those. And we do have a holiday special custom Boba Fett at the back there, created by Salacious B. Pawkins. Go and check him out on Instagram. Now it only seems fitting to end this Star Wars collection tour with some recent media, so we do have my Mandalorian focus shelf, which I'm really happy with how this came together. This features all my plush Grogus from the Disney store. We've got the Jumbo Mandalorian Pop in the centre there, Bounty collection, the incredible Gentle Giant Bust, which is absolutely fantastic, a stunning addition, and then some more pop vinyls, pins, Black Series figures and stuff like that as well. And then below that we have some pop vinyl figures from the Mandalorian, and also the Clone Wars towards the end. I do also have two more retro collection figures in the collection in the form of Yoda and Luke Skywalker. Those are still on the card, and I think they blend quite nicely into my Luke Skywalker shrine on the top of this display cabinet here. So that is going to wrap things up for what has been my 1000th YouTube video and my Star Wars collection tour. I really hope you've enjoyed taking a look at my collection. As is usually the case with these collection tour videos, if there's anything in my collection that you've seen that you really like the look of and you want to see in a little bit more detail, be sure to drop a comment down below in the comments section. One of my aims with the channel going forward is to take a few more requests, so if you do have an action figure or collectible that you want to see in a little bit more detail, give me a shout and I'll try to get around to it as soon as I can. In the meantime, again, I'd really like to thank you for tuning in to my collection tour. I really hope you've enjoyed having a look at it, and I will be back with much more content in the very near future. I've got a ton of really cool videos lined up, so I hope you'll continue to stick around for all of those. Once again, I'd like to thank you for sticking around for 1000 videos over the course of the last 13 years. And here's to the collection growing over the years to come. So again, thank you all very much for watching. I'll see you all very soon. In the meantime, enjoy Star Wars Day. If you haven't already watched it, go and enjoy The Bad Batch on Disney+. And I hope you guys have a fantastic May the 4th. So until my next video, guys, once again, thank you very much for tuning in. And until my next review, as always, keep collecting, and may the Force be with you.